Now, we know at the weekend there were those quite shocking scenes actually about Old Trafford leaking. Do you think that's a priority fix in the summer? What do you make of those scenes, and how do you imagine Sir Jim Ratcliffe is feeling at that current situation?
I'm sure he's probably embarrassed seeing those scenes being broadcast worldwide of the leaks in the Old Trafford roof. It's like the newest waterfall in Manchester at Old Trafford, I think, when those scenes we saw after Arsenal's game on Sunday. Yeah, it's not a good look for Manchester United. It's obvious about that. Obviously, we've had so many jokes about the state of the Old Trafford stadium right now. It's obviously been a pressing issue for Jim Ratcliffe, since he has taken minority ownership of the club, that he wants to either redevelop Old Trafford or build a new stadium as well, just talking like Nottingham Forest there. And he has been looking support and funding for that to make a new stadium, a Wembley of the North, as he called it as well. But I don't think that's going to happen too much with taxpayers' money, I don't think, as much as he wants. But yeah, Old Trafford's it needs a rebuild, there's no doubt about that. It's in a state of repair, really. And obviously, that's going to be one of the main tasks, I think, of the club, because obviously they want to get matters on the field right as well, but you need to get matters off the pitch right as well. And as I said, I think it was an embarrassing look for Manchester United, all that going on with, especially it was affecting the away dressing room as well. I think there was Arsenal players taking photographs of it and everything else. So yeah, for Manchester United, who see themselves as the biggest club in England, if not the world, to have issues like that with your stadium is not a good look at all. And I think obviously they're going to get that stadium repaired as quickly as possible by the end of the season, you would hope. But yeah, I don't know if Paul, when he's ever been at doing any commentary at Old Trafford, are you in the shallow end or the deep end, Paul?
Yeah, I've been. I've got more down on top of the 5 Live commentary position. But listen, for jokes aside, I think it's perfect for Sir Jim Ratcliffe. This I really do. I don't see how it's a bad thing for him. He's just come into the club. He's only going to make it better. If in 2 years' time he leaves the club and all he's done is fix the roof, he's made him better. He's got what they're doing on the pitch. I mean, they're not where they want to be on the pitch. Their performances, the players, there's going to be a huge changeover of players. We suspect there's going to be a change of manager. Things on the pitch can only get better. Things off the pitch are only going to get better. I think it's a perfect situation for him to walk into, because the United fans, we know how disgruntled they are with the Glazers. They want them out of the club. That's not going to happen. They're there to stay. But Sir Jim Ratcliffe can be seen as coming in, right, fix the roof, fix the manager, fix the back four, sorted the strikers out. All this is good for him because he's now got a platform to build from. The bar is low. He's only going to get this club better, and he's going to be seen as the one to do that.
Well, Paul, on that note, the fans clapped Erik ten Hag off the field yesterday. Seemed that there was a bit of a reunion between the fans and him. What did you make of that, actually? And do you think the board will have made up their mind already, irrespective of what the fans are saying about Erik ten Hag?
Yeah, I think he's done. I think he's done. I don't think he's there, man. You look at Barada coming in, Jason Wilcox coming in, Dan Ashworth coming in, and he's not the type of manager to work with those type of people, I don't think. Plus, it was the last home game of the season, wasn't it? So it was almost, thanks very much, you're done. They're away at Brighton this weekend, aren't they, Manchester United? I just don't see how he fits into the setup off the pitch. They've hugely regressed from last year. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but there's a huge points deficit reduction this year to what they are. I mean, they're top 4 last year, Champions League, trophy in the cabinet. This season, struggling to get a European place. Going into the last game of the season, still don't know if they're getting a European place. No trophy in the cabinet. They've got a chance in the FA Cup final. Listen, the FA Cup final could save them. They could get a European place and a trophy. I still don't think that saves his job because of what's gone on the field this season. They've not been a good watch. They've been so unpredictable. They've been beaten at home. They don't get beaten 4-0 at Crystal Palace. The players, the noises around it, they're just not the Manchester United that you would expect. Listen, you look at the performances this year, you look at the results they've had. The Champions League was an embarrassment. You know, no disrespect to the teams that are in that group, but they should get out of that group. I mean, what was it? Is it Anderlecht? It wasn't Anderlecht. It was a Danish team. I forget.
Copenhagen.
Galatasaray. And, you know, if they can't get out of a Champions League group with Copenhagen and Galatasaray in it, there's something wrong for Manchester United. And that set the tone for the whole season. So I don't think he's going to be there next season. I don't think that was any kind of reconciliation between him and the fans. Even if it was, if they'd won 6-0 and all the fans were, "Oh, Eric, we forgive you. You're a great manager," you still won't see him again next season. I don't think. I think his time there is done.
Yeah, I don't think Man United fans are going to boo him. They're not that type of fan base where they're going to boo their manager. I think most of the fans are pretty much resigned to what's going to happen in the summer. And I think they fully expect Erik ten Hag to leave and a new manager to come in as well. So I think it was a matter of maybe a bit of sympathy for Erik ten Hag last night at that. And again, it's a normal tradition at Old Trafford where the manager does speak after the final home game of the season as well. So it was just a matter of if they had lost to Newcastle, you mightn't have seen too many fans in that stadium last night. They obviously got the win, but again, it wasn't the most impressive of wins or the most pretty of wins. I think Newcastle could probably count themselves a bit unlucky not to get anything from that game. But yeah, I think he looks like a dead man walking to me.
Well, he keeps telling us about trusting the process and trusting me, trusting the plan, trusting the process. We've got one game to go and I still don't see a plan or a process.
Well, Pete, I mean, Paul mentioned it previously about sort of some of the team leaving. We know that Raphael Varane is making his way to the exit door. What does that mean, please, do you think, for the rest of his teammates? And what did you make of that news? Sort of quite a key personnel really leaving the club.
Yeah, no real surprise that Varane was going. Obviously, there was an option in his contract to extend it for another year. I don't think it was in United's plans to keep him. Again, he's such a decorated player, such a classy player on his day as well. But the move to Manchester United just hasn't worked out for him. He was a big name signing from Real Madrid and on big wages as well. So that saves money, United, on the wages. They're obviously going to need to replace him. There's no doubt about that. So they'll have to bring in new central defenders in the summer as well. But yeah, I think it's the right step in the right direction for Man United right now, that they need to clear the decks, get rid of some of the older players, some of the more senior players as well. And again, it saves money and maybe adds money to the transfer kitty going forward. So yeah, I think Varane will be the first of many probably out that exit door at Old Trafford this summer.
Are there any other names then, please, you anticipate to leave? Are there any big stars, any fringe players? Who's likely to go, do we think?
Yeah, well, Anthony Martial will follow Varane out on a free transfer. I think Johnny Evans will probably leave as well when his contract expires. He was a surprise signing last summer anyway when he did come back to the club on a free. Obviously got more game time than he probably expected. Amrabat, his loan move won't be made permanent from Fiorentina. He'll probably go back to Italy. The other big names that could potentially leave would be Casemiro, who's had a bit of a shocker in recent weeks playing in central defence. Again, another player on huge wages. So if they could recoup those and a potential transfer fee for him, that would make business sense for Man United. Christian Eriksen, I think, would be another big name that will probably look to leave Old Trafford in the summer. Then Wan-Bissaka it seems to be the latest name that could be allowed to leave Old Trafford this summer as well. But yeah, I think there'll be more before United actually go about doing their own summer transfer plans as well, because that squad does need a lot of open heart surgery. And as I said, I think we know that finances are quite tight at Old Trafford due to PSR and everything else. So they need to sell before they can bring players in.
You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.